There are plenty of ghosts and ghouls in Chicago. Could one of them be Al Capone, America's most famous Prohibition-era gangster?
Welcome to Haunts and Hunts America, where we explore some of the most haunted places, ghost stories, and paranormal legends around. But don't be a ghoul. Hit that like button and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. Thank you.
Now, for some background. By the 1920s, the United States had outlawed alcohol, a decision that spawned an entire criminal industry. And nowhere was booze and bootlegging bigger business than right here in Chicago. In 1920, federal agents raided a massive haul of Canadian club whiskey meant for Capone himself. Sources said it was supposed to be a gift for a visiting Italian delegation. Instead, it went to the government. A slap on the wrist and a warning letter later, and Capone switched to selling non-union made liquor. You know, the good stuff. Soon he was running the most profitable bootleg operation in town, and with it came all the trappings of wealth, influence and power. All the things that make it really easy to go down the darkest alleys of life. Then there were the murders. Officially, Capone only faced charges for 22 violent crimes, but rumors persist that his men were responsible for hundreds of deaths. Most notorious among them, the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre. After a gang war with rival mobster Bugs Moran, Capone's men lured 7 of Moran's crew to a garage on the pretense of buying cars. They then proceeded to machine gun everyone to death inside. Although the culprit was never officially identified, the finger of suspicion pointed towards Capone and his associates, and though he escaped prison time, the massacre forever tarnished his reputation. But that's just scratching the surface of his impact on the city. More businesses flourished under his watch than failed, and the sources of his ill-gotten gains continue to inspire fascination even today. So let's raise a glass to the one and only Scarface. And now, let's go find out if he haunts Chicago. Our first stop is Eastern State Penitentiary, opened in 1829. This was America's first purpose-built prison, designed to isolate inmates in solitary cells, supposedly breaking them of their wickedness with time and repentance, or maybe just drive them insane. It seems to have worked on Capone. Convicted for tax evasion, he ended up serving time here for 11 months in 1929. It was during this stay that guards reported hearing screams in the middle of the night. Reportedly, Capone would wake in terror, calling out the name Jimmy, said to be the nickname of James Clark, one of his men put in a casket from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Many believe it was guilt over the massacre that haunted him, that in his sleep, his mind could no longer ignore the faces of those he'd had killed. Others claimed it was Clark's ghost, come to collect on a promise made to bring him justice. Next, we head downtown to the Congress Plaza Hotel. Built in 1893, this hotel is nearly as old as the city itself. Its rooms are polished marble and gold leafing, the epitome of Gilded Age glamour. But what secrets do they hold? According to legend, Capone stayed here, at least unofficially, using a suite on the 8th floor for private meetings. Today, though the hotel insists he never registered, employees swear the place still gets a little chilly. Night shift workers speak of seeing a shadow figure pacing a locked suite. Guests have smelled cigar smoke in empty hallways and heard polished shoes clicking only to stop just behind them. Before we move on, we need to visit Lexington Hotel, aka Capone's castle. Now, this one's tricky because the hotel no longer stands, but its history is important to Capone lore. Built in 1908, the hotel boasted so many secret passages and hiding places, it earned the nickname Gangster's Paradise, and throughout Prohibition, its ballroom echoed with the sounds of Capone's band playing jazz for his favorite mobsters. Today, all that remains of the Lexington is a parking garage, but according to those who worked there, it's still pretty active. Lights snapped on in sealed rooms, rotary phones rang from dead lines, and footsteps could be heard in thick dust that left no prints. Speaking of places that are still here, but maybe shouldn't be, we should pay a visit to the garage where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre took place. The building is still here, sort of. As of 2021, the entire block has been excavated and transformed into a plaza, commemorating the site with plaques and artifacts. But some think the tragedy is still present here. Visitors still report hearing sharp metallic pops, like distant gunfire, and on breezy days, you can feel the cold air brush against your skin, as if someone had just walked through. Some even report seeing faint outlines in the snow, lined up just like the bodies once were. Now we move north to a restaurant appropriately named The Great Escape. Why? Because the place is loaded with gangster history, and if these walls could talk, they'd probably spill all their secrets. Built in 1911, this building used to house a casino owned by Capone's associate, Frank Nitti. Later, it became home to the North Side Gang, led by Paul Ricca, and all the while, rumor persists of hidden tunnels leading underneath the street, allowing guests to make a quick escape should police appear. These days, servers report silverware shifting after close, cigar smoke in smoke-free rooms, and a heavy unseen presence on the cellar stairs. Finally, we come to the last stop on our tours, the Green Mill Cocktail Lounge, allegedly Capone's favorite hangout spot. Opened in 1907, this place is straight out of a gangster movie. Brick walls, dim lighting, and live jazz, perfect for nursing a beer or making shady deals. And while the current owners insist any connection to Capone is purely coincidental, there are just too many stories to ignore. Musicians talk about mix hissing amps popping and a cold draft drifting through closed doors. Then there's the booth under the mirror, the one closest to the door. Some say if you sit there long enough, you'll feel the booth vibrate as if someone just sat down beside you. So is Chicago haunted by Capone and his crew? Well, let's look at the facts. Organized crime is deeply ingrained in Chicago history. Much like other US cities, it flourished during Prohibition and left an indelible mark on the city. Many of its members met bloody ends, which might explain why so many people report feeling uneasy around certain locations. Add to that, Chicago's rich history, and it's easy to see how stories like these could easily take root. That said, sometimes the line between myth and reality is thinner than we'd like. For example, the Lexington Hotel is gone, but its reputation clearly lives on in stories of strange occurrences, and some say the spirit of Capone's castle still stands. Meanwhile, stories like the Congress Plaza Hotel have been fueled by locals eager to keep the legend alive. However, that doesn't mean everything is fake. The history of violence in Chicago is real and undeniable. In fact, some say it's that violence that lingers and takes shape in the form of uneasy feelings. The massacre at the garage on Clark Street is fresh in the city's memory, and some say the grief of those lost has manifested in unexplained ways. Even the legend of Capone being haunted by the massacre fits too perfectly to be anything but true. Ultimately, Chicago may not be haunted by ghosts so much as by the trauma and triumphs of its colorful past. Crime, profit, and punishment are universal themes, and some say their echoes can still be felt. It's hard to deny the energy in the city and the strange encounters people report there. Whether it's the sight of a lone figure striding through the halls of a historic hotel, or hearing the sound of a phantom train whistle echoing through the night, there's something powerful about these stories. They remind us that the city's streets once teemed with life, and that the decisions made and actions taken here have had profound consequences. Maybe the best way to experience Chicago is with an open mind and a willingness to embrace the unknown. Who knows? You might just feel a chill down your spine and hear footsteps behind you when no one is there. And if that happens, don't be afraid to turn around and face whatever might be waiting in the shadows. Maybe it's Capone himself. Thanks for watching, and if you've experienced anything strange in Chicago or anywhere in the world, please share your encounter in the comments. And if you're ready for more spooky season scares, hit that like button and subscribe for paranormal hunts and intriguing haunts from around America. See you next time.